and welcome back to A Nerd, a Teacher, and a Hockey Player. A relevant yet irreverent look at business, technology, and life in Wichita or wherever you may be. I'm Paul. I'm the nerd.
I'm Kimber, and I'm the teacher.
And I'm Jeff. I'm the hockey player.
And with us today, we have Amanda Meyers. Amanda, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, not to put me on the spot, my name is Amanda Meyers. I'm the executive director of the Wichita Family Crisis Center. As we were talking about, I'm from Buffalo, New York. I have 2 sons and 2 dogs. And let's see, I don't know. Like I said, I'm from Buffalo, New York. I lived in Washington, D.C. for 8 years, Chicago for 10, and I've been here for quite a while.
So one quick plug about the organization you work for. Tell us again who they are and what they do and how our viewers can find out more.
Absolutely. So the Wichita Family Crisis Center supports victims of domestic violence and human trafficking. We have a 24/7 shelter as well as a slew of additional services for victims, anything that they may need. And you can go to our website, which is wichitafamilycrisiscenter.org, to learn more about what we do. If you have questions, we have a 24/7 hotline. I recommend anyone who has any questions to give us a call or check out our website.
But we're not here to talk about shop. We're here to talk about career transitions.
Wonderful.
Okay.
So you've lived all over the place.
I
What
have.
did you do in all of those places?
Oh, okay. Great question. So I was in school for a long time. I lived in D.C. and was in school for 8 years while I was there. So I got my undergraduate, a master's, and then a law degree there. Went to Chicago, clerked for a federal district court judge, worked at a giant commercial law firm, huge law firm where I met my husband. Did that for 6, 7, 8 years. Transitioned into being a mother, which is the most important job, obviously. Moved here and then decided that I wanted to run a nonprofit. Well, I started by working back in the field. And so, but it wasn't really so out of the ordinary for me to do this. When I was in law school, I don't know if you guys know this, but in law school, you can practice under the supervision of a professor. So I actually did domestic violence law while I was in law school. So it would allow us to go to court. And I also worked and volunteered at a legal aid clinic in D.C. It was for victims who are below the poverty level and have either immigration issues or domestic violence issues. Okay. And then when I was in Chicago, I just always did volunteer work. So I worked at a women's shelter there. So it wasn't weird for me to just be like, hey, domestic violence shelter.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
So there was a little bit of a connection.
Yeah. It was always my passion.
But you're certainly not practicing law.
Well, not technically, no. There's a lot of contracts that come up,
Sure.
I mean, Paul's seen, there's plenty of contracts that come up that I review. My husband's also a lawyer, so I take full advantage of that and have him look at things. And then, I mean, not to talk shop again, but domestic violence survivors and human trafficking survivors have a slew of legal issues that they're dealing with, right? There's,
cool.
marriage, custody, protection orders, child support, all those kinds of things always pop up.
So Amanda, what do you think was the genesis for that transition out of corporate law and into the nonprofit segment and domestic violence and?
I think without getting too personal, first of all, there's 2 impeti to
things. We would say things.
Things.
Yeah, I don't know, causation. I don't know. I'm sure there's a fancy, quarter level word for that. But first of all, I was in a financial position to be able to do so. Very few people are in a financial position to be able to choose to do nonprofit work.
Right,
it is
right.
insanely underpaid work, as is
Absolutely.
being a teacher, in my opinion. Right? So I am incredibly, I cannot say enough about, my husband, who we have the same level of education. We went to very similar schools, and he has been incredibly supportive of the fact that I make 700 times less than he does, right? And that's a choice we've made as family.
Right.
So there's that. And then I truly believe I had a sort of a difficult family situation, and I'll just leave it there. If you've survived that, I am the kind of person that believes that you grab as many people as you can who are drowning in the pool and help them out as well. And so that's what I've tried to teach my kids by living that model. So I've been very fortunate.
That's so cool.
So thank you for doing that and being an asset to the community and finding your passion and your calling kind of all in the same bundle all at once, because it's really rare that people get that opportunity and then furthermore execute on that opportunity.
I think I'm very lucky, blessed, fortunate, whatever the word happens to be. And I again, have to give credit to my husband because the poor man, he's a lawyer. All he does is review documents all day. And I get to do this like really interesting, fun work, so.
And then you bring him a contract at the end of the day and say,
Yeah, I'm
look
like,
this over.
Exactly.
I need your help with this.
I literally just got a grant contract today and I was like, do I push it? It's a holiday weekend. We have a long drive,
You drive and let him review the contract.
I know, but I should drive and let him, listen
Sleep.
to a podcast or
Oh,
sleep.
there you
right?
go. There you go.
And I was going to ask if you had it to do all over again out of school, would you go straight into the nonprofit world or into corporate law? But then you wouldn't have met your husband, and there's all these other follow-up changes that probably wouldn't have taken place.
And I don't know if any of you are in this position, but I'm in a position, I think maybe our kids are around the same age, and they're thinking about what they want to do with their lives. So that's a really, appropriate question right now. And I 100% am a believer in getting as much education as you can.
Agreed.
It was
Agreed.
hugely helpful for me. So I would never just jump into the nonprofit world. I'm so, so grateful for both the master's degree and the law degree. And I'm kind of nudging them, even though it's expensive.
So what's the master's degree in?
It's in English literature, but it was a focus on women's studies and what was called queer theory at the time. So
Okay.
it was a very cutting edge sort of degree at
Cool.
the time.
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
Good
it was a lot of fun. My dad thought I was nuts. I was very happy when I decided to go to law
What
school.
are you ever going to do with this degree?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, Kimber, you also experienced a career transition. Talk to us a little bit about what you did, what you're doing, and what to use Amanda's word, what the impetus was for that.
So I have done a lot of things. Like, I was thinking about it. I had too many careers to even just go back through. Like, I went out, first went into veterinary medicine. And I did this help with, I was not a veterinarian, but I did help with the surgeries and did the anesthesia and all that kind of stuff. And then I got way too comfortable with death. You walk in the door and you're like, all right, you move on. I was like, I don't want to be that person. Got out of that and I'm like, you know what? I come from a long line of teachers. Let's give this a go. Came in, did reading intervention. Man, I love those kids and I love those aha moments and I love that, we're getting somewhere and being excited and all of that. And I got to work in Title I schools. So it was even more satisfying just going through that. And I went through and ended up with my master's in libraries and information science. And I was doing that and COVID.
COVID.
Back into a classroom, and I'd never taught gen ed in a classroom before. I know it's third grade. It's my favorite content year in the elementary school space. Like, this is gonna be amazing, and it was not. It was not amazing. The kids were incredible, but you have some kids at home and you want to just crawl through the computer and bring them to you, and then they get to you and you're like, man, we already had this relationship established. Why are you fighting with me right now? And my own kids were like, I need help, Mom. I need help. So to come out again. And now I work in marketing for a tech firm, and I'm not technical. I told the people this morning at our Wednesday meeting, remember, because I made a couple pretty big mistakes yesterday, I'm the target audience. You want to be able to explain whatever it is to me.
I love that.
So
thank you.
Yes,
And before you came to join our team, you worked in marketing for another tech firm locally.
I did.
What led you from education to marketing?
It wasn't full marketing at the other tech firm. The other tech firm sold it as event planning. I was going to do all these events and all this community engagement and
I'm
all
going to
these
be the party
things.
person.
Yeah.
Balloons for all my friends.
Right.
And I absolutely was at that place. I was the life of the party, and that's saying something because they were a lively bunch. But that wasn't what it was, to follow through. It was a bait and switch. But
Bastards.
I know.
Hey, take
I will
that.
Pay
Hey.
I will pay that one
Thank
because
you. That was
yes.
for you. That was
Thank
for
you.
you.
I
I'm
appreciate
sticking up
that.
for you. Sons of bitches. There, I got one more.
Thank you. Those skills are so transferable. I'm pretty well organized. I can switch between tasks, and I'm fun. This party planning goes great. And then I got into it, and I'm like, I'm actually really good at writing email. I'm actually really good at putting a smile on my face and not understanding a word that you say. figuring it out later.
But being engaged.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am
Ooh,
a proactive listener. You think, like, you're talking to me, you know I'm listening to you. And if I'm not, you know that too. So I was like, I was good at these things. I had these transferable skills. I can make just about anything interesting. So marketing's the place to be. This is a fun time. And I don't have to actually know anything about anything. I just have to say, oh, tell me more.
Well, and in fairness to you, I mean, once you get a hold of something, you're like a pit bull. You just go after it. Like, I always like to think about the artificial intelligence. It wasn't that long ago we were talking about, what are we doing for clients with artificial intelligence? Kimber took that and she did so much research and learning, and now she's become kind of our resident AI expert. Ask Kimber. Kapow.
Well, you can, but Kimber being the technical expert on anything is also terrifying.
You do a wonderful job. I'm convinced.
Thank you.
By the way, I just referenced Kapow. You need to draw that in.
Oh,
Close out.
that's Kimber's prompt of the week, and you can find that on LinkedIn.
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome. If you see that, it is so cool. People are learning stuff from Kimber, so it's cool.
But there are AIs that you can use to feed contracts into, pull out this stuff, and it'll sorry.
Yeah, I know.
I was on.
That was my bad. That was my bad.
Nice.
I'm sorry.
I'm a little reticent, I have to admit, about that. I mean, again, squeeze it, because AI stuff, if we're going to go in that direction, especially when it comes to reviewing contracts and also writing, because
You have to know what
you
you're
got to
doing.
know how to write. You can't just rely. I mean, I've had
No,
kids
you
this
can't.
age, right, that are the perfect age. One's applying to college. He could just ask for a college essay, but also with regards to contracts, because I think you have to understand the ins and outs of exactly what's happening.
You do.
So,
Yep.
Jeff, I'm going to pull us back on topic.
Please.
No offense, Amanda.
Sorry, I
Hey.
took us off.
Do you have a career transition story for us? Or are you doing what you've always been doing, just doing it better for a better place?
Kind of doing what I've always been doing, better for a better place. Thank you. I guess I did switch between managed IT services and then just a technology firm and supporting applications and installations and things like that. But I've always kind of been in a leadership role and for tech companies, so I'm not that far from center, really.
Okay.
What about you?
I took a 180 detour. I graduated from high school and was in the computer club and decided I'm going to get into this computer science thing. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to be a nerd. So I went to WSU, and back then, computer science was punch cards and coding and dull and boring, and was asked by WSU to take some time off. That's code for your grades aren't good enough to stay here.
Transition semester or something like this.
So after a couple of transition years,
Gap years.
they
gap years.
invited me back. Now, a gap year is when you do it on purpose. A transition year is when you're asked to stay away.
We're we're smudging it for the audience.
But then wound up going back to school, got a degree in business, which took me on a side trip through accounting and credit and collections. And for a while, I managed the credit lines for the lumber yards that were buying lumber in the state of Kansas. And interestingly enough, this was about the beginning of the internet days. And the company I worked for said, you've had a computer at your desk for a while. Finance kind of deals with numbers. Computers deal with numbers. You're going to go learn how to do all this networking stuff. And that just kind of led me circling back to this IT stuff, not the coding stuff. This IT stuff kicks ass. And I think there's a business to be built around that. So that's kind of where the side hustle started and the career detour.
Career detour. And that was how many years ago, Paul?
A long freaking time. 26, 27, 28, 25.
So how did you learn? I assume, you had been in, I don't know, the finance bro world, and then you had to return. I mean, there's a lot, you have a lot of knowledge.
And I was fortunate that at that time, the company that I worked for said, we're going to send you to Microsoft's campus in Redmond, Washington, and they're going to fire hose you for 2 weeks, all this technology stuff. And then the rest of it has just been, that passion I had in high school that wasn't fulfilled in college is now there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a cool story.
Yep.
Story.
So I think that the underlying theme of all of this is kind of find your passion and find what brings you joy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So to kind of wrap things up, I want to circle back to passion and joy with an interesting question that we had in discussion with some friends a few months ago. If you had it to do over again, or if today you could choose any career, any vocation that you wanted to, that you were physically able to. For example, I am 6'7", but I can't jump and I'm never going to play basketball. So for me, basketball's out, being an astronaut's out. Those kind of childhood dreams are out. But if you had it all to do over again or wanted to make another career choice, Jeff, what would you do?
I'd be a hockey player.
Well, and I'll cut you slack on that because you are a weekend hockey player.
I'm a beer league hockey player. Full transparency. Now, I have lost teeth, so I am a hockey player.
Oh, boy.
From the sport.
Oh, boy. Go Sabres.
Blues. I feel for you, though. The Sabres just, I forever will be asterisk for the Dallas Stars. He was in the crease. That's a long story.
So you'd be a hockey player.
I'd be a hockey player.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Kimber, I kind of warned you this was coming. Yeah. If you had it to do over again or could make any career choice right now, what would it be?
I think I'd go, this is hard. I'd go into horticulture with an emphasis in forestry management.
Okay. So you'd be the tree-hugging plant girl.
No, I would honestly be an undefeated hide-and-seek champ, and I would be in the fire towers, and
Okay.
I'd be in forestry services, and I would probably teach the kids who come through the state parks all the cool things and why they deserve to be protected.
Okay.
You got to show your shirt real quick.
I love
No.
that.
So, yeah, state parks. This is my Sasquatch, and this is the hide-and-seek, undefeated hide-and-seek champion of the world.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Cool. So for me, I kind of developed a real interest in cooking during COVID. And I like dogs. So I'd be on the fence between would I run a pet rescue or would I, study to be a chef and maybe run a restaurant?
Yes, chef. Yes, chef.
Chef Paul.
Yes,
Chef Paul.
chef. Yes,
Yes,
chef.
chef.
Yeah.
I like watch the cooking shows.
there.
Yes, chef.
We're going to hear that at the office all the
You
time.
are.
Amanda, what about you?
I appreciate that I get to go last because, I needed to think about it for a
A
second.
little courtesy for the guest.
I think I am so fortunate to do what I do, and I absolutely love it. I think the only regret I have is that I didn't do it sooner.
Okay.
Deep dark secret, I was not the best stay-at-home mom. I think I'm a better mom now that I'm working. And so I wish I would have. I just thought that was what you were supposed to, the best thing you could offer to your children was this stay-at-home mom. And it just wasn't what I was good at. So some of them were fantastic. I mean, they were making topiaries out of green grapes, right? Like I wasn't. So if we had shoes, we were cooking with gas. So
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today. I guess the key learning from today is hopefully at some point you find your passion, you find your joy. If you haven't found it yet, maybe it's not too late. But if that requires a career change, be brave and do it. Again, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.